Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having a good night. Thanks for joining me in the celebration. We're here. Let me know if you can hear me. Make sure that I sound okay. I want to make sure you guys hear me. Thanks for everybody that's joining. This is a night of celebration. This is to celebrate all of you guys. To thank you for subscribing, for watching my videos. I am normally a guy that's behind the camera a lot. And so I wanted to give an opportunity to show myself and talk and let you guys get to know me a little bit better. Let's jump into the chat and see what everybody's up to tonight. All right. I see some familiar names. Elementary Brew Co., Northwest Small Brewing, Patrick D., Matt Ushman, what's going on, man? Kurt, a lot of good names here. Patrick Sandy. Let me know what you guys are drinking tonight. I'm about to crack open this beer I've been holding on to, this Cent Cinquante. My French is horrible, but a little special beer to celebrate. A little strong blonde ale by Chimay. And it is 10%. 10% alcohol, so let's go. Oh, let me show you this little thing I do. So this is a little trick, a little live stream trick here. So when I do my videos, I shoot a lot of B-roll of the actual beer in glass, and avoiding bubbles is a big thing. So I always have a bottle of sanitizer around, and I'll just spray it around, let it sit for like 15 seconds, and then I know that first shot of the beer is not going to have any dirty bubbles in the glass. So let's get this going. Oh, all right. Heavily carbonated. Let that set for a sec. All right, so what's everybody drinking? We got German Helles, nice. A wheat beer, okay. Trent's getting wasted. I mean, we're celebrating, right? We got to go big. All right, so tonight I'm going to do like a Q&A type thing. You guys submitted some questions that I'll answer. But if you have any extra questions or anything else you want to know, it could be beer related, personal, not too personal, and anything, just let me know. Put a question in the comment and I'll try and get around to it. But to start out, we have a question here that I got from Tobin Nathan on Instagram. He wanted to know, how did you get started brewing? Which I think is a great way to start off. Before we do that, answer that question, let's just get a sip here, even though it's super foamy. Cheers to all you guys. Super foamy beer, cheers. But 25,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Little beer foam mustache. Oh, that's actually really good. Let me know, anyone in the chat, if you've tried this one. That is actually really good. I've had a lot of their beers. Usually I pick one up for like celebration of some kind, but this one is really like smooth for being 10%. I'm surprised. Okay, so jumping into how I got started. So I actually got a home winemaking kit probably about a little over 10 years ago for around Christmas. And it was just one of these kits that had like, a concentrated juice. You add water, you add this, you add that. And it makes wine. And the kit made like 30 bottles of wine. So it was like a great starting thing because the instructions were very much just laid out for you. Made it very easy for a beginner like me. And in the end, I had so many bottles to share them with friends and stuff. I was hooked immediately. Now, the wine wasn't like the best thing I ever drank, but it was pretty good. I don't know, if you've never tried one of those winemaking kits, I highly recommend it. They're just like so easy to do. You just need a carboy, something to ferment in, and you can have a buttload of wine to last you a long time or to share with people. But that got me hooked, and it wasn't for another couple years that I get Mr. Beer kit from Christmas. I actually got it from my mother-in-law, which real quick, shout out to my wife, Rachel. She is my biggest supporter. She's my biggest help. She helps produce all these videos. She watches all my videos, reads my scripts, gives me notes, helps with social media. So she's the other half of the Brew Show that you don't see working behind the scenes. So huge shout out to her. Just want to get that out of the way. And oh, I just got someone. You can only hear me out of your left ear. Interesting. I can try and fix that. But anyway, so I got the Mr. Beer kit, and that beer was horrible. It was like the worst beer I ever made. And I don't know. Let me know if you've brewed on a Mr. Beer kit, but they are just like, they give you like no instructions, and you're just like, I was just throwing this thing in the closet, didn't know about oxidation, didn't know about temperature or anything like that. Oh, shout out to Northwest Small Brewing for the super chat. Huge thanks. Anytime anyone supports the channel, it's like, it's a huge help. You know, I put everything right back into the channel, so I appreciate any help. Anyways, back to Mr. Beer kit. Yeah, I made a lot of bad beer, and it was actually pretty like demoralizing. Tom, thanks for the super chat. So I kind of gave up on beer for a while. I thought, like, I can't do this. You need to have all this expensive equipment, and you need to, have all these skills to brew beer. So I gave up. I just kind of stuck to wine, and I got into cider a little bit. And then eventually I just started like picking up books, listening to podcasts, brewlosophy, experimental brewing, things like that. And I started to hear about brewing a bag, and I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. That seems like a great way to try something different. It made brewing all grain, accessible. It seemed like something I could actually do. So I started doing that, and that was really like the game changer. As I'm sure a lot of you in the chat, I see a lot of people that are like kind of mimicking the stories about Mr. Beer. But yeah, brewing a bag is really what changed it for me found that I could actually make good beer, and I could brew all grain. And that was a big difference maker. And I just kept going with that. And, I started very simple, making just like pale ales and IPAs and things like that, getting the skills set that I needed to brew in a bag. And then I could feel confident to brew. And then that's where these two worlds kind of collided for me. I have a background in filmmaking and videography, as you might be able to tell from some of the stuff I film. So I always wanted to intersect these worlds. I loved making beer and I loved filming, and YouTube was like the perfect place, but I never had the confidence or never had the drive to do it. And when the COVID hit, then I just found myself with a lot of extra time, and I was like, let's give it a go. Let's try this. Let's see what happens. And now 102 videos later and 25,000 subscribers, we're here. So I appreciate everyone watching, even those early ones that, are hard for me to watch, but I appreciate you sticking with me and joining me along this journey. So thanks to all of you guys. Let's check out the chat, see what everybody's up to. Yeah, so the Mr. Beer Kit, I did a video on, actually collaborated with Casey, CH, over at Homebrew for Life in Maury, and we tried to see, could we make a Mr. Beer Kit actually good? That was a lot of fun, because it was like going back to the beginning, redeeming myself for all those horrible beers that I couldn't finish, I had to pour out. And yeah, we actually made Mr. Beer Kit good. So if you haven't seen that video, check it out. That was a lot of fun. Owen Peters, I made my first homebrew beer after watching a bunch of my videos. Oh, nice. My very first homebrew was all grain. Wow, nice. Jumping right in. I love that. That's great. I love hearing stories like that. Daniel, he says, I just did my first brew in a bag from switching from electric. Oh, interesting. Cool. That's like an interesting way to go from electric to brewing bag. I feel like a lot of people make the jump from brewing bag to electric, which is what I just did with the claw hammer system, which is kind of like electric brewing bag, I guess. But yeah, I'm loving that. BrewQ asks, what editing program do I use? I use Adobe Premiere is the main thing I use. I use a little bit of anything in the Adobe suite. But yeah, Photoshop, After Effects, all those things. All right, we got a question here from Perry. Perry says, what do I add to my water to hold more CO2 in suspension? That's an interesting question, to hold more CO2 in suspension. I don't know if there's something directly correlated between what you add to the water besides more CO2. Someone in the chat can try and correct me. I'm not like an expert when it comes to all things beer. I have a lot of information and I try and share it in a very simple way. The only thing I would guess would just be to add more pressure and keep it cold. Cold temperature holds CO2 much better. So if your example, for example, bottle conditioning, and you're keeping it in your closet, it'll hold the pressure, but as soon as you open it, it's all going to fizz out. Probably this beer was probably too warm. That's why it fizzed out all over me. So if you can keep it cold, it's going to hold the pressure better. Ooh, that's a spill. Good thing I got a towel. Okay. All right, let's look at some other questions here. Kevin says all his beer kits turned out good. Well, you must be a really good brewer then. Or you just know a lot more than I did when I got started. I knew absolutely nothing. All right, my first brew. Okay, my first beer brew was, there's a beer in Chicago called Fifth City, which is by Revolution Brewing, and I loved it. And I was like, I got to replicate this. And so I tried. On the websites, a lot of these pro brewers, they'll like tell you what ingredients they use. A lot of times they'll be like, we use this hops and these grains. So I tried to find an extract that had similar things, try to find the hops that had similar things, and it was not good. I didn't know anything about oxidation, and I was like opening the fermenter and things like that. The first Mr. Beer kit I got, I think, was like the light beer, which is like a Bud Light or Coors Light type thing, which just wasn't good. Yeast and the Beast. What beard products do you use? Oh, this is all natural. Just natural beard oil that comes from my skin. That's disgusting. All right. Genus. I know Genus Peter would come in with all the answers to every question. He actually is a great resource. One of the early resources YouTubers that I watched. Obviously, Beer and Barbecue Larry was great. Short Circuited, Genus. Those are all guys that you watch them and you're like, I'm getting some knowledge right now. Some things that will really help. Speaking of YouTubers, CH is in the house. What's going on, man? I want to give a quick shout out to CH. He was one of my very early supporters. It might have been like video number 5, and he reached out to me and he was like, "You want to collab?" And I was like, "Me? I have like less than 100 subscribers, but sure, let's do it." And so I drove down to San Diego with my wife, and I was like, "I met this guy on the internet. We're gonna make a video together." And just like very friendly guy, just like he is in the video, just super friendly, very welcoming. Brought me in, made me feel like I was, part of the crew. I was welcome because I was nervous making my first videos. So like, were people that were already making videos going to reject me? Were they going to not be inclusive? But everybody was super welcoming. And so, yeah, huge thank you to CH and Homebrew for Life crew. So, we got someone from Korea. I've got a Korean. I can't read your name, unfortunately. I'm sorry. That's my bad. But he says, I'm a Korean and I'm getting a lot of help doing your homebrew. That's great. That's awesome. I'm kind of curious. I'm going to put a question out there. What was the first video of mine that you saw that made you subscribe? Or what was the one that, brought you to my channel? A big one for my channel is sake, which is actually like kind of fun. Like, it was a complete experiment. First time I ever did anything like that. I love exploring these other fermentations outside of beer and cider. So doing an experiment like that and having great success was like really rewarding. So let me know in the chat, what was your first video you saw of mine? Let's see. All right, I got some other user submitted questions. I'll jump back to the chat in a sec, but let's see. All right. All right. Ali Osmo, if you know Ali Oz, he's on the Hoppy Hour a lot. He asked, what was your least favorite brew? Which is a great question. I mean, if we're not including those early ones, and I'm just looking at just the YouTube, my posts, which of them is my least favorite? I love each one of my videos because I learned something from it. But the one that I probably liked the least was that George Washington one, which was a lot of fun to make to put on the George Washington wig, and that I just was fun making that video. But it was not very good to drink. It was super light and just super molassesy. And I have like all these other things on tap, all these other things I'm making. Like that was the one that I was like, I'm never reaching for it. I'm never gonna drink it. I need to make space for other things. So I ended up dumping that after. So that was probably my least favorite brew. Let's see. Let's go to the chat. Pineapple cider, nice. These are the people's first videos. Yeast and the Beast bragging about being a subscriber before I hit 1K, of course. Yeast and the Beast is a man. If you don't know about his channel, he's got a great channel. Guy down in Texas, just making beer. Very laid back, chill guy. Great videos. Tepache, yeah, Tepache was one of the first videos that blew up for me. I got the inspiration from, if you guys ever watch on Bon Appetit, there was a guy, Brad Leone, who made a lot of like random fermentations, and I was super inspired by him, and I was like, I gotta try this. This sounds crazy. And the first one I made before filming, I was like, this is crazy. It's just so good and like unique. So he did a really good job at the video, but he was very all over the place, and I was like, I feel like I can kind of like refine this video and make something good. And yeah, that video is still doing really well for me. So that was a good one. Detective BrewSho, the best video I've ever seen, says Tiger Pat. Do you think he'll pull through and make another appearance? I would love to like go back to that. That was a lot of fun. That was just like a random idea. I'm a big film like nerd, big lover of film, and I wanted to make something that was very themed, and that just felt like, I don't know, with the idea I get all these questions, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I solve this? And putting it into like a detective, that was like, it just made sense. So that was a lot of fun. That was my wife that's in Rachel. She is in that one as the damsel, or the dame. Yeah, I would love to. Maybe I'll revisit that. I don't know. I want to touch on other genres as well. But yeah, that was a lot of fun to make. Frazzled Penguin, great name. By the time your vids came along, I was already fairly experienced, but your quality of videos in every aspect made me sub and eager to watch the next one. Wow. Thanks, Frazzled Penguin. That's a great message. I love reading positive comments like that. It makes me feel like what I'm doing is, it's worth it. Like I was making videos before, I was making videos and I didn't care like who watched or what. I was making them for me, but the fact that other people are getting something out of it, that is like super motivating. Kevin Moore says, your BIAB video got me into brewing. Ironically, I'm still doing extract kits currently, but the BIAB showed me that home brewing is approachable and doable and fun. Yep, that's the thing I love about brewing a bag, is it is super easy to get started. You just need that pot, a bag, and some way to heat it up. And if you're doing an extract, you might as well just get like a small bag and jump into like partial mash, because that's basically the in between. You're doing a small mini brew in a bag, and it can really add a lot of flavor. So definitely give that a try if you're not. Yeast and the Beast. Which video took the longest to put out? That's a great question, Goose Frava. You would think that Detective BrewSho was like the longest, hardest one, but that was the easiest one. Like I just shot it all in one night and then edited it. It was too fun. Like I got it out really fast. The hardest ones to finish or to put out are the ones that are like, I would say like a list of something, like, reasons you're not, I did one that was like things you're doing wrong, or like mistakes, because it's like I have to sit there and think about what are the mistakes that I made early on, and it takes a lot of pre-planning, and then I'm often just using footage from other videos. I'm not shooting new stuff, so I'm having to like search through and find clips to fit in. But I do enjoy those videos. The simple like brew day ones where it's like, here's the beer I made, those are the easiest, because it's just like I have kind of like I would say formula, I guess, of how those are made, and maybe I need to shake that up a little bit. We'll see. In 2023, we'll see if we get a little bit crazy, a little bit different. Kombucha and dog treats. Yeah, nice. I mean, I still make kombucha. Actually, my wife Rachel is now like the kombucha master in the house. So every now and then I'll like catch her like watching the video, miss little details, like how to do things. But all right, so let's go jump over to some other user submitted questions. All right. Okay, Mern Canal, sorry if I mispronounced that, commented and said, what's an expensive piece of equipment that's actually worth the investment? That is a great question, because I would say you don't need to spend money. That's one of the biggest lessons I learned, is you do not need to make or spend money on something expensive to make good beer. You can make it with like a shoestring budget, just doing brew in a bag, even some extract stuff could be great. But the thing that the thing that probably costs the most, that I find that has given me the most back, is the claw hammer system, the electric system. I can't like stress enough like how much like weight is lifted off of me on the brew day because I went electric. It's just so great to like walk over there and like press a button that, you know, set the temperature and then walk away. Whereas like on the brew bag, you got to like heat things up with the propane, you got to stir it, you got to make sure it's consistent. You know, I didn't have like a recycling arm to keep the mash flowing. So the fact that that's all included in the claw hammer system, or even other electric systems do the same thing, but it just is really great. And I know it's like expensive for a lot of people to get started, but I think if you build up to that, you'll find that the value you get from it is more. You get your time back. You can relax a little bit on the brew day. So I would say this is a not sponsored, but I would say definitely go electric. It saves a lot of headache for sure. Let's see. Northwest Small Batch Brewing says, I'm always amazed by your video skills and production. It's some kind of voodoo magic. Thanks, man. Yeah, like I said, I have background in video editing and production, so that definitely helps. But everything, I did go to college for cinematography, which is where I learned how to shoot, but editing was all self-taught. You know, I was making short films in my like backyard with my neighborhood friends since I was like in like middle school, and just watching like YouTube videos or, you know, reading books on it, figuring out how to put stuff together. So anyone can do it. It just takes a lot of time, practice. All right, let's see. Have you ever made a beer with tomatoes? I put tomatoes and ferment them with Brett. Oh, interesting. But the tannin taste is too much. So that's very interesting. I've never brewed with tomatoes, although I did just see that Flora Brewing brewed with tomato leaves, which I thought for sure tomato leaves were poisonous, first of all. But she said they're not. So I've never done it. I'm very curious. I mean, I started brewing with herbs more this year. I did a few videos where I brewed with herbs. So I'm definitely getting into that. Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. Maybe I have to explore that one. Let's see what else we got here. Brew in a bag was the first. Nice. All right, let's jump over here. Let's just see. I got a question for you guys. Let me know, like, I'm always curious to know, like, what kind of content are you guys most interested in? Are you into, like, the brew day, like, this is a beer I made, just granny glass type thing? Are you more into, like, the experimental stuff, like last week's grocery beer video, which that was super fun. We can talk about that. Or is it more like tools, tips? Do you want to see things that are shorter? Do you want to see things that are longer? I always am like looking to, you know, I try and plan these videos out like a month or 2 months to 3 months in advance. So if you guys have any great ideas, let me know for sure. Anything you want me to experiment with. I did have one suggestion down here. Let's see. Oh, Zidicus80 asked, could you ever cover split batches? That's something I would love to do. I would love to do like, experiment with or a variable of some kind, like the way Brewlosophy does it, and see like does the mash temperature really matter? That's something I often wonder myself. Just something you go off. You're like, this is what they say. They say that mashing at a lower temperature gives you more fermentable sugars. But can you really even tell? Is it true? So, yeah, I would love to try more split batches. I know Dr. Hans, if you guys watch his channel, he was doing a lot of those for a while, and I love watching that stuff. He's got a great channel. He actually gave me a really good idea. I was watching one of his videos on 3D printing. 3D printing brewing equipment, and I was like, this is amazing. I don't have a 3D printer, but this is sweet. And then I found out that a lot of local libraries, the one I have here in San Diego, they have 3D printers you can actually use. You just send them the plans and they'll print it out to you for free. So I'm experimenting with that. Maybe I'll make a video out of that, but yeah, he's got a great channel, Dr. Hans, if you don't know about him. Okay, here's some suggestions. Grained glass with unique brews, for sure. Brew day, It's all good. Thanks, Elementary Brewco. Another great channel. The thing I love about Elementary Brewco's channel, if you don't know about he's got a great channel. It's just like you're hanging out with like a buddy, like brewing. He's like, he just takes you on this ride. We're gonna like brew. He's like, I got an hour before I got to pick up my kids from soccer practice or football practice, and you're just like, let's see how he does it. He's just always fun and positive. So great channel. Cask ale, that would be fun. I guess I would need to get a cask and like what are those pump things? That would be fun to try. Cider, seltzer, Melisandre, I got to do more ciders. I didn't do any ciders this fall. I mean, I did them for myself, but I didn't film them. They were more just like recipes that I normally do for the fall. So I'll definitely come back with more ciders next year, more unique hard teas, things like that. Definitely. Eric Bone likes grained glass, non-experimental recipes for the most part, but might be less entertaining, but I'm a fiend for info. Cool. I mean, I'm always going to I'm going to sprinkle in a grained glass video at least once a month. I'm just trying to figure out what should I fill the rest of the time with. Northwest Small Batch, more collabs are always good. Collabs are fun. I tried to do one with Apartment Steve. We were going to do some like Christmas things, but I know like he's got a tough work schedule. So hopefully we can reconnect in the new year and do something sweet. I like content when somebody is honing a recipe. That's a good valid point. So I don't do a lot of honing of recipes. You might notice I do a lot of like unique things. Like I brew with the seasons, and I am constantly trying to like just do something different. But there is a part of me that wants to hone a recipe. The pumpkin beer that I did 2 years ago, that's a recipe that I honed. So some of my early videos are more honed, but now I've just been on this like, what's next? What's new? So maybe I need to like revisit some old recipes that I have in the books and try honing them and talk about what it takes to hone a recipe. Spruce tip beer, Kevin McNeely. I completely agree. I don't have any spruce tips near me, but I would love to do that. I would also love to do like a brew day outside, like go camping somewhere, start a fire, like mash on the fire, boil, like leave the fermenter out in the wild or something. I don't know. Something like that. I know Flora Brewing did something like that. That would be a lot of fun. I think Hops and I did something like that too. Well, real quick, I just want to say, let's see, how many people we got watching right now? 63, dude. Nice. Thanks for coming out, guys. Cheers. Cheers to all you. Haven't taken a sip in a while, so cheers. Just want to say big thank you, and I appreciate your continued support of the channel. And if you want to support me even more ways, I obviously have some merch. I got some links down below. I don't like promote it a lot, but it's there if you want it, and I'm going to try and put some more stuff out. Obviously, you can do super chats in the live stream. And then there's also a channel membership, which I don't promote a lot either, or I try to, but that's just like, I would say like I call it the TheBruSho producers, because you're producing the show. You're helping me fund the show. And in return, I'll give you a little like behind the scenes sneak peeks on upcoming videos. You'll get priority on comments. If you comment, I'll make sure to comment back. And also, your voice is louder. Like if there's something you really want to see me do, and you're a TheBruSho producer, I'm gonna listen to you, because you are the one that's funding this channel the most. So definitely check that out. It's like it costs like, I think I have it set to like $4.99 a month. So like less than the price of a beer. Worth checking out. I don't know. And then I also always have affiliate links in my videos. So if you're ever buying any equipment, just check those out. It gives me a small little kickback. It's always appreciated. Nuthead says I should NBC this beer. Maybe if I had CH on to do it with me, I would do that. But otherwise, the stream might end up over before we know it. Let's see. Oh, Genus Boys did a Stein beer with Hot Rocks. Yeah, that was a sweet one. They do some really cool experimental stuff, and I'm excited to see that they're back, like posting more frequently. I think right now they're doing like 50 states or something like that, a beer for every state. So that's awesome. I would love to help out on that any way I can. I can represent what states I am from or live in. Oh, this guy, Timothy Musho. My brother asks, any holiday beers that I like? That's a great question. Yes, my go-to around the season is always Sierra Nevada Celebration. That is my favorite like beer on the season. Anytime I see it, I grab at least one 6-pack. That's my favorite. I just had another one from Breckenridge Brewing. That's like a Christmas ale. That was really good. So there's some good ones out there for sure. Frazzle Penguin, thank you for the super chat, man. It's not much, but I think you should get a pint. Thanks for the awesome high quality content. Appreciate it. Appreciate that a lot. Oh, and it's Canadian, $6.99. Nice. I love seeing viewers from, I get to see the analytics of where like my viewers come from, where you guys come from. And I love seeing people from other countries. So if you are from another country, put your flag in the chat. I'd love to see where you're from. Yeast and the Beast asks, where do I get my inspiration from? I get my inspiration from a lot of places. Mainly I get my inspiration from the season. So I think about flavors that I like. My wife and I are big cooking people. So we're often just, cooking with the season. So that's why I think about brewing. I look at flavors that I love, combinations that I love. Some of the videos that I have coming up for this winter, like one of them is a cranberry orange golden ale. Cranberry and orange is like, cranberry sauce or mulled wine, that kind of thing. So I feel like I'm very inspired by food mainly. And then as far as like the videos themselves, I get inspired by TV, movies, other YouTubers. So yeah. Party time. We got some more Canadian bucks rolling in. Nice, $10. Cheers from Canada. Canada rules. It sure does. I love Canada, man. It's a lot of fun up there. I've been a couple times. My family do road trips up from Indiana. So I'm originally from Indiana, if you didn't know that. I lived in Chicago for about 10 years and then moved out to California. But yeah, made road trips up to Canada. It's great up there, except for when it gets too cold. Then it's not fun. That's why I moved to California. Brett Levine says, I haven't even started brewing yet, but is there any reason to go electric over propane? Electric systems seem much more expensive. Just like the ease of the mash, I feel like it's the big thing. Like keeping that mash temperature consistent, which isn't like a break. If you can't keep it consistent, it isn't going to ruin your beer, because that's how I did. I brewed on propane with a brew in a bag for years and years, and I make excellent beer that I love. And I do miss that kind of like analog way of brewing. It's like, sometimes I shoot on film cameras because I just like the experience of it. There's something about the physical aspect of it. So there's nothing wrong with brewing propane. Absolutely not. Canadian pesos. Oh, and we just got another super chat from USMC Mike 1. Enjoyed the channel, learned a lot. Cheers, man. Appreciate that. Love that. Party time. It's like $3 US. Hey, any penny helps. It helps me make more videos. It helps me keep producing. That's really what it comes down to. I put every dollar that goes into the channel back into it. So hopefully I can get a new camera soon. I've been working with the same camera for a long time, but we'll see. All right, let's go to some user submitted questions. We got a few here. Let's drink a little bit too. Party Like a Hobbit. That is a good name. Party Like a Hobbit asks, is lagering necessary with modern yeast strains? Okay. I don't think so. I think that lagering is only, this is my opinion, this is my point of view. I'm sure a lot of you won't agree with what I'm about to say, but that's totally fine. I think lagering is only good if you want clear beer. If your goal is just like, I want the crispest, clearest lager, then you store it cold and let it be, and it'll become clear. But I don't think it's necessary. A lot of modern yeast strains are really good at flocculating, but not only that, we have a lot more clarifiers like Biofine and Clarity Firm and WorldFlock that do a lot of the hard work. So I don't know, but like honestly, I do like Biofine on most of my beers, and I do Clarity Firm on a lot of my beers now, just for the gluten reducing part of it. So I don't think you need to lager, but if you got the space and you want super clear beer, why not? I don't know. All right, Walt Longmere has got a question here. It says, why is marijuana and beer not more of a thing? Some hops and nugs are very similar, You would think it would be bigger. I think that's probably because it's illegal federally, is my guess. I completely agree. There is like there's a lot of crossover. I mean, they're related. They're both in the Cannabaceae family. And if you saw Hops and Gnarly's video this week, there is a lot of similarities, especially when it comes down to like the terpenes and like sciencey stuff. He had a great video on it that I can't explain, but you can make like hash oils out of marijuana. You can make hash oils or you can make condensed oils out of hops that you can use. So there is a lot of crossover, and I don't know why. Maybe it is the federal thing that's scaring people off, but it would be cool to see more of that. Not even for the THC aspect, but just to see do you get something different out of marijuana that you would get out of hops? I don't know. It's very interesting. Yeast in the Beast asks, will you make live streams a regular thing? That is a question for all of you. If you want to see more of this, let me know. I'm having fun. I'm having a great time. So if you want to see more of this, we can make it more a regular thing. But this was just a celebration for you guys to say thank you for the subscriptions. So, all right. What do we got? Oh, Nahez says, I lagered my hard seltzer. Oh, I bet it was super clear. I haven't made a lot of seltzers, or the last one I made was probably in the summer. I don't know, are people still into seltzers? I think they're a good alternative to have on tap. But I'm seeing less and less of them at the breweries, I feel like. I don't know if it's just the time of year. What? I don't know. Okay. Let's answer a few more questions and then we can get out of here. We don't have to hang around all night unless you want to do 5 more beers. All right. Well, this was a user submitted question from my wife. RC Musha asks, besides making beer, what else do you do for fun? That's a good question. She probably knows the answer to this, but I watch a lot of movies. I watch a lot of television. I just started the Willow show on Disney Plus. I don't know anybody watching that. And finished Andor. I thought that was pretty fantastic. Besides that, I do a lot of photography. We went and checked out. There is like a congregation of great white sharks right now in San Diego, and so we went and checked those out and photographed those. That was sweet. Play some softball on the side, a little intramural league. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, brewing was my hobby, and filmmaking was my business. And so the fact that I can bring those two together, and it's like making YouTube videos has become my main thing that I do, and it's something that I love. So I'm going to keep doing it. And the margins are great. Yeast and the Beast. They are great. Speaking of Yeast and the Beast, he asked a question. He said, what brewing myths do you still do? And that's a great one, because I feel like I cut a lot of them out. You know, like the big ones are always like 60-minute boil, 60-minute mash, which I stopped doing those. Squeezing the bag, stopped doing. All right, I do that. That was a myth that, you know, squeezing the bag would extract tannins. So what do I still do? I don't know. I feel like there are myths that need to be uncovered, if anything. And maybe I need to explore that. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good one, a good myth that I still follow. I feel like I'm still sometimes scared by DMS, but I don't like worry about it too much. You know, people say that, you know, if you don't boil long enough, you'll get DMS, but I've done like, you know, no boils. I've done raw ales before, and I've never noticed it, but I don't know. Oh, shout out to Knothead Brewing. $25, man. Wow. Thank you so much. 1 more, 10 more. Cheers to that. Cheers, man. Speaking of raw ales, I did a video with Martin Keene. I don't know if anybody saw that one. It was it was a sati, which is like a I can't remember where it's from. Let me know in the chat if anybody knows. But it is like a raw ale that you use juniper leaves and berries to kind of like strain the bed out and add the like hoppiness and stuff like that. And that was like that was first of all, it was a very fun collab, because Martin just reached out to me. He was like, love what you're doing. You know, would you ever want to do something again? I was like, absolutely. So the fact that I'm like in the 99 beer styles was like, what, me in these videos? Sure, man. But it was fun. It was like, he kind of like put me as like come up with the recipe, you know, which was very like fun to like research and figure out what is a sati. I tried looking for like commercial examples. They're nowhere to be found. I think Dogfish Head makes one, but yeah, I had no idea what to do. So I was reading a lot of articles, reading blog posts from like Lars' blog, and trying to figure out what a sati is. And he ended up sending me the one that he brewed, and I thought it was really interesting. I would say thick was the main descriptor. Thick and sweet, not super bitter. It was pretty low carbonated too. But that was really interesting, and I'd love to like experiment with more of these type of like beers, or like just non-traditional beers. Like, for example, Jay Dickinson says, do a cornhole from Norway. I don't even know what that is, but I want to try it now. He said, yeah, okay. Sati's from Finland. Yes, exactly. I've never been to Norway or Finland. I would love to go. So maybe if I do, I'll let you guys know. But Goose Fraba asked if you've seen your film work anywhere. I don't know, probably not. I do a lot of like, so I worked mainly in the commercial world, advertising world. So for a while, I worked for a sports drink brand, a pretty popular one. And so you may have seen something from there, mainly on the digital space, not like TV ads or anything like that. But Todd Porter says Margin Cabin, which is a reference to Brew Cabin Collab. I would love to see more of Brew Cabin. His videos are amazing. Even if he puts one video out a year, I'm gonna watch it like 5 times because it's just so good. I love like the musical aspect that he puts into it. It's gold, man. It's great. I would love to collaborate with him. Kevin McNeely asks, how much importance do you put on mash pH? I don't put a ton of importance on it. I will measure it, but it's not like I freak out. Especially if I'm brewing like a dark ale or a stout or something, I don't really worry about it at all. I guess supposedly the thought process is you increase your efficiency. Your efficiency is better if your pH is in between someone's gonna correct me here, like 4 point. I don't know what it is. So anyways, if your pH is in a certain range, you'll get a better extraction on your efficiency. And I know the Brewlosophy guys have proved that like you can't tell. There's no discernible difference in pH. It may increase. It may give you more extraction, but on a taste wise, you're not going to notice. And I do have to shout out Brewlosophy for sure, because they are like one of the biggest influences on me as far as not caring so much. They basically taught me that like you don't have to worry about every detail. People aren't going to know the difference. You're still going to make good beer despite like what you do to the beer. Like you can mash for 30 minutes and no one's going to know the difference if you didn't mash. So I feel like they were like a big just like a big inspiration for me to like be like, okay, let me just try this. Let me try brewing a bag. Let me try not mashing so long. Let me try not boiling so long. Let me cut some corners where I can. The short and shoddy experiments in particular. So big fan of them. I know that they're working on a new YouTube channel, which I'm very excited about. Looking forward to that. But no, I didn't copy their name. I get that question sometimes. I picked BrewSho because my last name's Musho, and it just made sense. I don't have an umlaut over my U or anything like that, so I didn't mean to like copy names or anything like that. It just, I went with my name and fit it into a little TV, and it just worked. There we go. Patrick Sandy coming through. 5.2 to 5.6 pH. That is the mash pH range. Minnesota Fats. I would love a 30-minute stream once a week or about every 2 weeks or whatever about beer. Quality over quantity. I love that. Great feedback. Do you prefer higher or lower ABV beers? Goose Fraba. That is a great... I say that every question is a great question. I prefer lower ABV beers, probably the most. But like right now in the winter, going for something like 10%. I got a 9% stout on tap. It's just like, I don't know. I go back to the season. So if I need something to warm me up in the winter, I'll go a little higher. But mainly I'm going more towards like that 5% range. Later, Greg Perez. Oh, the Mad Fermentationist is a great blog, which I believe I can't think of his name now, but he's got some great books too, and he's got a brewery that he did with Scott Janish. Someone come through with the answer, but Yes, great blog, Mad Fermentationist for sure. I think he has a YouTube channel that he hasn't posted to in a while, but he's got some good stuff on there. What would be the next hard iced tea, fruit tea flavor combination you want to make? Well, probably, I haven't done any like, at least I don't think, any like hibiscus. That'd be a good one. Maybe like a hibiscus and, I did the hibiscus saison. That was the first video I did, but hibiscus tea something would be good. Other good teas. I mean, a white tea with like, what's like a cool, I mean, peach would be good. Mango, I've done those. I don't know. Let me know if you guys have any good ideas for a hard tea. Any suggestions for a first beer? I've done a cider and a mead, but not a beer, from Daniel Simon. First beer, I would just say keep it simple. Do something like a smash beer, which is a single malt and a single hop. Something like pick a cool hop. Like pick like a Motueka. You know, something super has a lot of like character. So Motueka to me always comes through as like lime. So yeah, I would do like a Mexican lager. Do like Pilsner malt and Motueka. That would probably be fantastic. All right. Do you have a barrel? You should do a barrel aged style. I would. Yeah, that'd be sweet. I mean, barrels. I know Gnome Brewing got a barrel. But I don't have a barrel. And I saw at like CVS, they had like this little mini barrel that was like this big. And I was like, oh, maybe I should get that and put like some stout in it and just see what happens. So maybe I'll grab one. They're at CVS right now for like the Christmas. They're in the holiday section. I don't know. We'll see. That'd be fun. Hibiscus lime. Yeah, that would be great. That'd be a great one. Let's see. Do you stay continuously inspired for new brews, or do you need some inspiration at times? I do need inspiration at times. And I'll often go to podcasts, or I'll go to books. Even like I have a stack of books that I'll reference every now and then. Or even just like other YouTubers. I'll see like what people are doing. What's popular right now. I know like this year a big thing was like Phantasm. Everyone was playing with the grape, Phantasm. What are those called? Man, brain's not working right now. But it gives you like the more like hop characteristics. Anyways, that was a big thing this year. I didn't play with it, but I was definitely inspired to like okay, let me try this. So I do have to look for inspiration. I usually get like motivated though. Like I'll hit like the end of the season. Like right now I've planned out the rest of winter, or at least through end of December. I know winter goes on a little longer. And now I'm thinking like, okay, it's spring again. Like what can we play with? What kind of like herbs can I play with? What are like spring flavors that I can start thinking about and planning that out? So first beer, stout. They are more forgiving on mistakes. That is very true. Dark beers, you can make a lot of mistakes on dark beers, browns, stouts, porters, and you'll have probably a good beer in the end. I need to make that video. That's a video I feel like I should make, is like the first beer you should make. So that is a great idea. I'll add that one to the list. Mike Tonsmeyer. There we go. He is the mad fermentationist. All right. Let's see. I'm going to pour a little more, drink a little more. While we're talking about next year, I have a question. Is anyone going to head out to HomebrewCon? Is in San Diego, which is where I am. I would love to like meet up with some people. I think that would be a lot of fun. I wasn't able to go last year, and the few years before that, they were like canceled. So 2023 HomebrewCon's coming to San Diego. So let me know in the chat if you're coming. Let's see if we got any other questions. Yeah, I don't know. You guys have any other questions? Let me know. This has been a lot of fun. I this is my first live stream, so I was like messing around with like the Streamlabs and stuff. But Casey CH gave me a lot of like advice, and being on his stream, getting used to the format. But I appreciate all you coming out and watching this. This has been a lot of fun, and I just like so thankful every time I get on to like YouTube to see like all your positive comments and the fact that you're enjoying what I'm watching. Yeah, it makes it all worth it for sure. BrewSho Con. Yeah, HomebrewCon is a little bit expensive, but I am fortunate that it's in my town, so I don't have to think about flights and things like that. But yeah, I think it'll be fun. I feel like this, I don't know what Pittsburgh was like. I didn't go to last year's Pittsburgh, but I feel like this will be a good year. Yeah, we'll see. And if you go, please sure to let me know. What's that? IR says, not a question, just want to thank you for always putting out great content. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I'm very appreciative. Suir Wong, do you filter your heavy dry hop beers? No, not really. I mean, I'll use a hop spider in the kettle to like strain out most of it, but sometimes I just dry hop straight into the keg, and I'll at least know that like the first few pours are going to be like very hoppy, very like sharp, but then after that it's usually pretty good. Any suggestions to what to use on making a spice cider and when? Yeah, I got a couple spice ciders on my channel if you haven't seen them. I have an apple pie hard cider, which I just rebrewed the other day, which has cinnamon and vanilla. That's like the easiest thing you could do. Then I did a cranberry and cinnamon cider. That was also great. You could throw anise in there. I would go easy on things like nutmeg and clove, especially. Clove is very strong in my opinion, and it's considered like that clove specific is considered an off flavor, so that can be kind of intense. But any of those like warming spices, like think about like what are you trying to replicate? Are you trying to make an apple pie? So what kind of spices would you put in an apple pie? Or, whatever it is, you can experiment. You can try in small amounts, and you can always add more. If you add too much, you're kind of screwed. You can't really take away the spice flavor. So go small, go light, and then if you need to adjust from there, you can add more. Shout out to Derek England. Congrats on 25K subscribers. Cheers, Derek. Thank you, man. Oh, Marco Luzati's got a good question here. Any thoughts on becoming a BJCP judge? Are you one? I am not a BJCP judge. The 10% is already into me. But I have thought about like doing it. I thought about like kind of like making videos on like becoming a BJCP judge. Like what does it take? I know there's like several rounds of like testing, and the first one is just like an online course that anyone can take. I think you have to pay to do it, but no, I'm not one. But I think there is a lot of knowledge to gain from that system. I would say I'm not so much interested in becoming a judge to judge other people, but I'd be more interested in like developing my tasting and ability to describe things from that system than judging itself. So well, yeah, this has been a lot of fun. We're heading up. We just passed the 1 hour mark, so this has been a great night. I appreciate all of you tuning in. I appreciate all of you subscribing. And If you want to see anything specific, be sure to let me know. Comment on my videos. Shoot me a DM on my Instagram at TheBruSho. If you want to see me collab with anybody specific, message them and tell them to message me. Or you can message me and I'll go bug them. But yeah, I mean, maybe we'll keep this going. If you want to see more live streams, make sure to let me know too. And otherwise, we'll probably do this again and when we get to 50K, or we'll do it sooner. We don't know. It's up to you. You decide. Yeah, I think I'm going to close it out there. I see some questions coming in. Keep them coming. I will message you back, or you can hit me up on Instagram. And yeah. Cheers, guys. Thank you again for subscribing and watching my videos. Appreciate you all. Thank you, Drew Seth.